Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. You found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. Here we remember what the world has asked us to forget, that you are not lost, that you are definitely not broken, and that you are the light.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Alana. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello. So excited. I know, just want to share. I know Janice couldn't join us today, and Angela, I believe, is still traveling amongst her things. So super excited to hear from her experiences next week, I'm sure.
Miss you, ladies. I hope you're having fun, whatever you're doing.
Hmm. Well, I'm still super excited to chat today. There's some things that have been showing up for me this week that have been like, I don't know, is this the energy that's going on in the world? Is this what we're all feeling? Like I would love to chat about what you've been feeling and what's going on for you.
This last week, I mean, coming back from the Dominican, right? Downtime and relaxation, but there's a lot going on, I think, internally for me right now. I think the energy is bringing up actually some old wounds and self-esteem issues, and it's been really, really interesting. I'm also working with homeopathy,
Okay.
so the remedy can help to bring about some of these things. So just exploring, like I've had some edginess, which is not normally in my wheelhouse at all, feeling very short at times. And so I think there's a lot going on energetically, of course, in the world. And when you're an empath and, you've been on this journey as long as I have, you start to recognize that maybe it's not all mine, but
Mm.
this time around, I think it's more about me and again, healing something deeper. And the universe is magical in that it presents at the right time.
Oh my
So
gosh. 100%. I just did a post about this. It was like literally before we got on. There's been a lot of that, like July and August. I think I mentioned this to you before. Was like has been super transformational in my own journey, in my personal journey. But it's like everything, and I did what I posted about was like everything leads us down the path, even though we're not sure. Like I wasn't intentionally going through all of this journey or knowing that even when we started this journey and our awakening and all that stuff, it's like we didn't intentionally go, oh, I'm going to have an awakening. The journey just happens and it leads us. The universe provides the right path every single time. And it's going to be a bumpy ride sometimes, but it's the
but
way it's
even in the
supposed to happen.
bumpiness, it's the right place, right? And what I'm also have recognized is again, it's reinforced for me that the right people at the right time. So for
100.
those of you that are listening and watching, it's really valuable just to pay attention and become aware at what people are bringing to the table for you.
Mm.
Because sometimes we're so, especially early on, I remember when I was totally unaware, but we can be really unaware of what the universe is actually presenting for us.
Mhm.
I was speaking with a woman earlier today, and she is developing, she is in a relationship, she's married, but she's developing a friendship with a male that she works with. And it's simply platonic, but she's being shown someone, a male, of showing compassion and an understanding, can tell when she's off. She's not necessarily getting that. So she's being shown another way. And she's actually talked about feeling guilty about this friendship. And I'm like, friendships are valuable, male or female, right?
Yeah.
It's an element of the universe presents the right people to teach us what we need to learn for ourselves.
We
And
put so much sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
no, that's okay. Go ahead. Go whatever
I
you
was
want
just
to
gonna
say.
say we put so much, it's like even going back to that story, we put so much meaning, the world, society, put so much meaning into the gender and in the this and the like the story behind it because none of that freaking matters. But
No,
anyway.
it doesn't. And so she was glad to talk about it and ease some of the feelings. And she said, like, I don't feel it's guilt, but maybe it is guilt. And I'm like, you have no reason to feel guilty. We
Mhm.
are allowed to have, and again, it's the story, it's a societal story that, if you're married, you're not supposed to have a lot of male friends. And there's value in having both. I mean, not
Yeah.
one person can possibly give us everything that we need. So open to yourself to those friendships.
Yeah.
You're going to grow. It may help stretch and grow the relationship as well, or it may show you where there's some deficiencies. right?
Right.
And be able to work on those deficiencies if both parties are willing to. So
Mhm.
yeah, the universe, and I think what's happening is I see it all speeding up for people.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's not it's not a gentle thing anymore. It's happening. And it's happening whether you like it, whether you don't is irrelevant. It's learning to accept and go with the flow.
Well, it's funny because like, this whole New Earth thing that's going like, we've had these conversations for probably a couple of years now where the New Earth is coming, blah, 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 blah. And, like you said, there is an acceleration phase that's gonna happen here. We've kinda talked about it on a couple of calls before. But it's like, even I just heard from somebody, and this is kind of a sidebar off topic, but, um, I was just talking to a colleague where I remember sometime in the fall, and I'm sure you've heard this before too, is that at some point in 2027, we're gonna have connection with aliens. And she's like, they're tracking a spaceship or some sort of something that's coming out from behind the sun right now. And I'm like, and it's anticipated to come here in 2027. And I'm like, I'm not surprised because this whole journey, like this new earth journey, what we're all currently the awakening, the shifting that's happening is, we know and feel it beforehand. And then we have the confirmation and the evidence. Same thing as manifestation. We know and feel it beforehand. And that's the desire that we feel. And the physical starts showing up of it. And we're like, oh, of course. Anyway,
Well,
that's a
and it's
side rant.
also recognizing that there is things other than us in
Mhm,
this universe. That universe is so vast, and unfortunately the name alien has created over the years fear,
mhm.
right? Fear and like something's going to go wrong or something bad is happening. You know what? They're teaching us to be curious,
Mhm.
right? Curiosity is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a matter of someone coming in and taking over. It's that whole element of curiosity about another species, another way of life, however you want to
Right?
look at it. And I know for a lot of people, this is a very uncomfortable topic,
Mhm.
but it's been going on for eons. Like,
Right?
I remember, hearing the stories of the 50s about aliens, right? And Area 51 and all of those kinds of things. And also in our fiction, there is truth in a lot of fiction because the universe, the collective, is all encompassing.
Mhm.
And so fiction helps people to gently step into something that is so unbelievable,
Yeah.
but it brings it into the psyche.
And
Yeah.
it's yeah, 100%. And it's funny it's another perspective, right? And this is yet another perspective I'm bringing in here, but somebody else even mentioned I don't even remember who mentioned this to me the other day, but or I heard it on a video maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, it was like, but we are alien to this planet essentially. Right? So we have this like we are somebody else this quote that somebody sent to me the other day was and I love it so much and I'll probably get it wrong, but it's like I think it was Jesus or in the Bible again. I may not remember all the details, but the message is here. And we are the salt and the light. And which means in my mind that there is activation that's going to happen like the salt activating the wound or whatever. It activates to bring awareness and we're supposed to activate as well as be the light. So it's like, this, like you said, even the conversation around aliens is going to make somebody uncomfortable, but it's activating a feeling for a reason. And it's like, we get to choose then if we're going to push it aside and be like, that is way too uncomfortable for me to even entertain. That's not something I want to entertain. Or is, like you said, is it curiosity of, ooh, this sounds interesting. Can I lean into that? But it's activating you in a way so that you have to choose one way or another.
That's what our feelings do too,
Yeah, 100%.
right? It's activating us to step into a different level of awareness about ourselves.
Mhm.
We are not just these meat suits.
Mm-mm.
We are so much more, and everything is energetically charged,
Yeah.
right? Whether you look at the shadow side, whether you look at the light side, does not matter. There's a charge to it, right? So it's that element of what is it activating? What do you need to look at, shift? Sometimes, and that's why I love open conversations, is if you're open enough to hear someone else's perspective on things, that's going to allow you the wiggle room to grow,
Mhm.
right? If you're just closed off, like my way is the highway, right? You're not open to receiving something that might actually help to activate you and help you to grow.
Right.
So it's, I love these conversations for that reason. I remember doing a public speaking event, oh God, a couple of years ago in Hamilton, a few years ago now. And someone threw at me a question around aliens. I think thinking they were going to stump me.
Mhm.
And people were very surprised at my response and my reaction to it because it's like, I'm open. I have been open for years. And I know there is a reason for that because as a child, I remember faintly, and I'm going to say faintly, that there was a spaceship in my backyard. As
Mm.
crazy as somebody might think that sounds, I was only little. I have no reason to make something like that up,
Right.
right? But I pushed it aside, like, because, okay, you're crazy. I
Yeah.
probably said something to my family,
Yeah.
right? And they're
Or
like,
heard something that somebody else said, in a similar context, and you're like, "Oh, I can't mention that," right?
that's right. And it's, I can recall it was around the age of 5, around the same time that I had the visions of crabs coming out from under my bed or scarabs or whatever the heck that they were. And then my parents, my dad spanked me at the time because I was in a hysteria. He didn't know what else to do. Right.
Mm.
But those visions stopped after that. So,
Mhm.
I still don't have a lot in the way of visions. The universe has worked with me through feeling and through a knowing, a claircognizance. So any information that I deliver when doing a talk, I mean, it's guided by the universe. There's things that sometimes I don't even realize that I've said. Like it just comes
Yeah.
out. And it's not till after that somebody starts to reflect, like it was just like you were talking to me, it really resonated. Or you see people crying in the audience, like that element of, if I wasn't open enough to be able to listen to other people's perspectives.
Mhm.
One thing that's constant is change in
Ugh,
life.
yes.
And I love that as I've matured and I've grown, I've been able to shift some of my perspectives because boy, oh boy, was I stuck in the mud for a long time in that dogma of what society and family said was right.
Yeah, and the going back to the post of what I literally just put up was, like, saying exactly that. Like, we spend our entire life collecting everyone else's beliefs, ideas, and limitations. And then we get to this point in our life where we have this awakening and we're like, wait a minute, there's a whole other side of me that I have no idea who I am because we've collected everyone else's opinions, ideas, and perspectives. And so
Mhm,
now we
exactly.
get to choose which ones are ours and which ones we can let go of.
Right. And that doesn't mean we discount that we have negative stuff. No, that means own it outright. Because one of the things that I say to people is owning it, no one can use it against you anymore.
Yeah.
No one can
That's
attack
so
you.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody can attack you with it. When you own it and say, yeah, these are my flaws, these are my hiccups, whatever you want to call them, my mistakes, okay, I can take ownership for them.
Even areas of growth for those that are listening that are like, this is how can I put this? It's areas of growth because now you're aware of it, right? Once you become aware of it, you have control of it and you can shift it in any way, shape, or form. You get to choose. Again, you get to choose how you want to move forward and what way and what belief and what idea. And like you said, even if it's, I've been this until now and now I'm shifting it?
Absolutely. And choice is huge in all of that. Making no choice is still making a choice. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't realize, right? So
Hmm.
it's that element of being able to honor yourself in your changes, right? So that people, again, if we don't know how to treat ourselves and if we don't know how to love ourselves through our obstacles and our challenges, how are you teaching anyone else to do so?
Hmm.
Right? Because we do actually teach people how to treat us. A lot of people don't realize.
Yes. By what you allow.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And like you said, it's not of it it's that no choice is still a choice, is that you even though you will like, you allow an experience to happen, or you have somebody say something and you then embody it because you're like, "Ah, I can't believe so and so said that and blah, 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 and I don't," and then you focus on it and what you focus on grows. So then you continue in that energy and you start seeing it in your as evidence in your life. So then you become, "Oh, I'm this." Like, I could tell you for example, one would be like, I was told I was late all the time. I worked on Atlanta time my entire younger life, and so
Oh,
then I
yeah.
had friends that would continuously tell me I'm late, so I'm like, "Of course I was late every time I turned around." Recently, it was funny, I had an experience just to kinda show the shift is that, I actually over the weekend, I was visiting with friends and traveled up, and, my partner told me, he's like, "You're late." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I was like, I chose to do something different along the way. And I had a great experience. And the experience I had, because I went to visit a client, and the experience I had was so good. And I wasn't late because what's time? And nothing was like, I didn't upset the people that I was going to. You know what I mean? Like, what difference? But it was my choice of like, I get to choose my journey in this, even it's the journey to get to somewhere. It was my choice to live that way. And that felt good for me. Like, that was so empowering.
Yes. And making that choice for ourselves, our feelings, we choose our feelings on the regular, and people don't understand that. They all act like their feelings are separate from themselves, bigger than themselves. And it's like, no, the
I feel
feelings are
like your
not the
feelings might be
problem.
in control. Like, we
Yes,
can't
that's the
control
point.
our feelings, yeah.
But the feelings are not the problem. It's our own story and narrative that is feeding the feelings that makes it last or that eases it. So
Yeah.
our own self-talk is so important in that process. How we choose to speak to ourselves. Okay, we can beat ourselves up the way that other people beat us up, but how is that helping us?
Mhm.
That's that internalization of the judgments, the criticisms, and the opinions of other people that over the years, it's all hogwash.
Yeah, well, like I said, I embodied the idea of that I was always the one that was late, blah, 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 blah. I became that all the time, and I was always the late one. Well, that became me. And then when my partner said that to me, he's like, "Oh, you're late." I chose not to accept that idea. He can have that idea all he wants.
Yeah.
But I chose to be like, "No, I'm not. I chose this outcome that I knew I was gonna be an hour behind what I said I was going to originally," but I did message them and say, I'm meeting with somebody," like, I owned it and said that. It's like and so then it was, again, my choice of I had an amazing experience the entire way along the day. I never felt rushed. I felt great because I chose my feeling in it.
Well, there's two things there. You owned it, but you were also respectful of other people's,
Yeah.
and that's important in the process as well. We
Mm,
have choice, but if people aren't aware of what our intention is, they're left worrying, wondering, stressing. That is partially on them, but we can help that process by just respecting and saying, "Hey, this is what's happening,"
yeah.
right? But and then your partner has no reason whatsoever to say you're late. Well, no, I told you I was doing something, right?
Yeah.
But it's an element of, yeah, hand that back. That's yours. If that's your perception, I'm great.
Right. Right? And it was so empowering to take that ownership of it, but also to be like, "No, because I choose to live my life like this, and that I can make stops
Yes.
along the way, and I
Yeah.
can do this, and this is what my life looks like." And it was such a different energy versus like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm put myself behind and blah, blah," like, just a totally it was a freeing energy, and that's what we mean by shifting. We have the choice to choose even the feeling I was in. I chose the feeling of I could be feeling rushed and I'm behind and whatever, but I chose to feel differently about it. So that's
And
kind
I
of just a embodiment of that idea.
and then I take it a step further. We're not in control of outcomes.
Well, this is it.
God is, or the universe is, or the creator is, whatever it is that you believe.
Yeah.
We have this idea that we can control all of the outcomes. If you were not meant to make that stop, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Like and I love living my life like that.
Mhm.
It's like I have choice in making my decisions. Absolutely. But if it doesn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out, then
Oh,
something
yeah.
something else was in store either for myself or the other person, right? I
Mhm.
don't get caught up in that anymore. Even as in the work that I do, clients will be freaked out because they're 5 or 10 minutes late, and I'm like, "Ah, it's all good." we're good, right?
Yeah.
I have built into what I do the time that people aren't going to be freaked out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know. Maybe you avoided an accident because you were a few minutes late. Like, so it's like I really do look at life like that. I'm not in control. I can I'm only in control of my feelings, my reactions, my behaviors, decisions, and choices.
Yeah.
And whether I'm going to choose to be in a place of peace, contentment, happiness, health, or whether I'm choosing misery, chaos, drama, and pain. Like, and there was
Mhm.
a time when I was right in the ladder.
Right?
Like,
Well, and I think
boy,
that's part of
lots
the
of
journey.
lessons there.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the journey is we have to go through those things in order to have a deeper understanding. Again, going back to the post I made today, it was like we needed to that was part of it too, is like I needed to go through all the things that I've gone through in these 5 years of my process in order to get to where I am today. And there was pieces where I struggled along the way. All of us have had pieces in our journey where we've struggled or we've tried to figure it out or we try to fit in somebody else's box or we like all these different perspectives. But in the end, if you continue to trust and you continue the journey because it's never done anyway, you will find a deeper understanding of yourself in the process and you will understand who you are, how you react and how you fit in such a better beautiful way. And I can tell you that from my experience.
You you're absolutely accurate in all of that. We learn to stop dimming our own light
Mhm.
and allow our light to shine.
Yeah.
You know, people go, "Well, my light shines." Okay, does it? Right?
Mhm.
Or are you holding back? And a lot of people are holding back,
Yeah.
right? Not intentionally. It's because of that conditioning and the constructs and the opinions and the judgments and the criticisms. So it's like, let your live authentically the way you're meant to live.
Mhm.
And when you do that, your light shines in a completely different way.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like this is part of it too, is when and this is what's come up for me this week as well, it was just this letting, and you can put whatever name you want on this in case, again, if you're getting salted or activated or, challenged by this, it's like, let God. It could be God, it could be universe, it could be source, it could be whatever language that feels good for you. But that higher power that you're connecting with, and like you said earlier, about we don't have control of it. And we try to control so much because of the programming, because of society, because of what we're told and how we're brought up, not to any detriment of those that have been trying to bring us up, but they didn't know any different. And now it's like when you get to understand to this point in our life where we get to understand we are not just our own and in control of ourselves, there is a higher power, a higher connection. And what's been showing up for us this week is I had this conversation with a couple of colleagues. And it's like we say, I do, and I, whatever. And what if we switch that to accept more of the energy of co-creation? And what if it's more of what would God do or what would, God say or what perspective of unconditional love? I mean, you can use any language, but what would the universe say that's coming from a perspective of unconditional love for me? Because each one of us, not just me specifically, I mean, me as in you or anybody that's listening, me, yourself. You are unconditionally loved by source. And I don't think we understand that deep enough. Like, if we just really trusted in the fact that there is something out there that's bigger than all of us, that knows us so deeply, and unconditionally loves us no matter what we do, how bad we think we are, all the terrible things we think we do and beat ourselves up for, it doesn't matter. God source, that source energy, that higher power has unconditional love and you could do all the things bad and it would still be there to support us.
And a lot of our life experiences, in all honesty, Elena, are to bring us to that state of unconditional love and acceptance for ourselves.
Yes, because it's in
So that
us.
it is who we are. It is at the very core of who we are. Some of us show us, some of us don't. But that is on purpose too. The people that don't are the catalyst for change. They're
Yes.
catalysts to help people to grow. How I
The soul.
is that they've sold their soul to be of that shadow self
Mhm.
to be able to help transform and create the heaven on earth. That
Yeah.
part of it.
To be
Eventually,
the
like everybody,
activator.
yeah, he's a big time activator. right?
Mhm.
Which is what I see in media all the time. Like people get caught up in the story. They're the biggest activators
Mhm.
to get us to a place of unconditional love and acceptance for all that is as it is. The minute that we are getting all rattled and angry and frustrated about what's going on over there, we're transmuting energy that is only going to fuel that
Yeah.
instead of going, wait a minute, that's there. Is that really in my bubble? Is that really in my wheelhouse? Neutrality is a really beautiful place to be in, not taking one side or the other, right?
Mhm.
And that's being unconditionally loving and accepting. A lot of people, and we weren't taught unconditional love. We hear about unconditional mother's love for children is unconditional. I don't know about you, but for myself, that wasn't the case.
No.
He was my greatest teacher for me to step into
Yeah.
who I am today and being able to affect and be a part of people's lives in the way that I am.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just, I always say this and I don't want to minimize it, but it's just me being me,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And all of us are going through those different things.
Yeah.
Every one of us, whether we want to admit it or not, every
Mhm.
one of us.
This is so good. But it's like, for me, it was I was on this walk and it was like, if we could just trust in the fact that that co-creation, that energy, that support, that unconditional love isn't in a body. It's not in a person. It's not in it's within us. Yes. But and it's all around us all the time, supporting us every single moment of every single day. And I had a conversation with somebody today too. And it was like, we get caught up in the masculine or get caught up in the doing and the the life. Life happens. And we don't always aren't always in creation or aren't always in this effective sorry, my alarm's going off. Anyway, um, but we are always supported. We are always connected. We have this feeling too sometimes of not feeling connected or not feeling whatever. But again, we're choosing that, just like we choose our own suffering. And that we are always connected. And all we have to do is shift in the idea that that source, that power, that God is always there
Oh,
and it's already within us. The energy. Yeah.
that energy is everywhere.
Hmm.
You know, I look,
Constant.
I look at nature. Does it resist anything? Does it fight against anything? But look at the beauty.
Hmm.
Even when things are stormy, look at the beauty, right? And even in our storminess, there's beauty there. In our storminess, we may be teaching someone else something, right? Because we're all teachers and students at the same time,
Hmm.
right? Um, Being in a space with people and just allowing people to be who they are, there isn't anything more beautiful than that.
Mm.
But it means letting go of the judgments and the beliefs and the opinions and the constructs that we took on, because those aren't ours. I always bring it back to unconditional love and acceptance. And boy, have I had the challenges in my life to bring me to that space. I don't
Hmm.
go into worry and stress anymore. Why? Because I know it's pointless. I
Hmm.
mean, and again, I've had experiences. You know, my youngest son is dealing with addictions. He's been dealing with addictions since he was 16 years old. He's 36 now. And I love him unconditionally. Do I like his choices? Absolutely not. Did I try to control it early on? Absolutely, I did. But that only caused more problems and frictions between us, which
Yeah.
created that divide and it wasn't the unconditional love and acceptance. So he's been a great teacher for me to get to that space of accepting his journey is very different than mine.
Mm.
And I had a minister say to me, he's touching lives in a way and in a place where I wouldn't be able to. And at
Exactly.
and at first I thought, oh, that's crap, right? Easy for you to freaking say.
Yeah.
Then I got to witness my son dealing with some people in a shelter who were like had some serious mental health issues. But
Mhm.
I am telling you to see the beauty in how he handled things. It
Yeah.
was like a two by four going, that's what she's talking. So
Yeah.
that was a really good awareness for me to go, okay, I have to look at this and go, this is his journey. I hope he finds peace so that
Yeah.
he doesn't have to stay in that world.
Well, and as a mother, we and a parent, we see the suffering in our children and we automatically try to rescue them from it. And like you said, they come here for their own journey. And we have to release the responsibility of their journey that we feel that because we created them, we are responsible for them. Yes, you're responsible for them from the ages of 1 to like 18. But then they have their own journey in that experience that they choose. And
And we
not
are actually only responsible for even less than that, to be honest.
Oh, 100%, but it's
They're
like
not our children, they're God's children or the universe's children. Like they're given to us on borrowed time. If you're lucky enough to stay connected like throughout your whole life, but that isn't always the way it's supposed to be either.
mhm,
Right? And if you as parents and your children are often they're living their lives and they're, you know, in their adult story productive, that's all beautiful and wonderful. But even that mentality of they're being productive, they're still going to go through pain. They're still going to go through hardships. You just may not hear about it or see it because we're not, glued to the hip, so to speak. And that's okay.
yeah,
That is absolutely okay.
100%.
So for anybody who's going through anything like that, the best thing that I could suggest is that you love yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself so that you can offer up that same kind of love for others. Because if we can't give it to ourselves, we can't give it to others. We
Mhm,
don't have it. That whole saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
mhm,
But the love, we look externally so often for other people to love us, and we are always disappointed. Bring it back to you just loving you not settling for anything less than that love and that compassion and that respect and that understanding. When you live that, the rest of the world will mirror it for you.
mhm. Oh, it's so true. Such good points here. I love this conversation. And it's like, um, for example, again, I like to relate it back to experiences, but so for me, I had 4 years where my son didn't talk to me, and it was like I had to love myself enough because there was a conflict and there's a whole story there, but, like, I had to love myself enough to say, "I can't do this anymore." And although it felt painful to me because as a mom, I wanted to be that space for him, but he was taking advantage of it, like you said, and it wasn't to the point where he was 18 and needed but he had to learn that I had more like there was love for myself in here and I wasn't feeling it anymore. So it's not that I like shut him out. I said he's always welcome. He's always allowed in my life and I sent him love and texted him and called him and whatever all the time, but there was a period there where I couldn't be in that energy. I couldn't be treated like that. And that was my feeling in it. And since then, I mean, we've come back together and had beautiful conversations. And he's even said, he's like, sorry, I was an asshole at that point. But it wasn't about him either. It was for me. The journey for me was for me and creating that boundary of setting my own love and accepting myself in a better way versus it had nothing to do with him. He had his own journey in it. Yes, he feels like he might have been. And it was funny. We came back and had this conversation just recently, actually, because I had this dream about him. And I was like, I felt and I expressed this dream about him. And he immediately felt bad because of the experience that he thought he caused me. And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm apologizing for my own story. Cause that's what I came back to. I was like, I'm sorry, I felt really bad about this. And he's like, but I was apologizing for my own hurt in the story. Not apologizing, that's not the right phrase, but I was expressing my own experience of the story, of my own story for myself and the awareness. And I got to the point, and this is sometimes I have conversations with clients where they're like, I want to reach out to that person that's hurt me or that person that was in my life. And my question always comes back to why. What's the reason you wanna reach out to them? Is it for your own closure when you're healed? Perfect, that's great. But if you're still in the healing process of it, you can't do it from that energy because you're just trying most of the time, I'll say most of the time, not all the time, but it's usually coming from still a people pleasing or I'm trying to smooth this over or fix this thing, but if you're not healed in it, then you can't fix it.
And you're absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
that element of being on. Your healing is your healing,
Mhm.
right? And your healing sometimes going to rehash something or look for an apology or offer an apology sometimes causes more pain,
Yeah.
right? Like one of the ones that sticks out for me is like, okay, you have a relationship where there's a split up, the person goes the other way, you get caught up in the story, right? And you want to know why, you may
Mhm.
not be clear on why. Well, how is knowing the answer to that going to help you feel any better?
Exactly.
Right? And it's really not. But it's our human nature that we have to justify. We have to feed a story, right? And
Mhm.
it's a story that what keeps our emotions all wrapped up in it. So our emotions are the gauge to say that something's going on. And it's a gauge to say that I'm not in unconditional love and acceptance or compassion and respect,
Or
whatever
if it
that
feels good, you are. You know what I mean? It's that
right. But
that
the
spectrum.
minute that you're feeding the story, you're pulling yourself out of that.
Yeah.
And so that's when you have to go, okay, something happened 10 years ago with somebody. You have to be able to go, wait a minute, that story happened then. Why am I keeping the story alive right now
For me.
for
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Right. And so you're creating your own pain, you're creating your own suffering without even realizing that you're doing it because it's so normalized to be in the story, to have a justification or an excuse or someone to blame.
Mhm.
And we don't heal when we're blaming. It's not until we take a step back and go, hey, I was in this abusive relationship, speaking from personal experience, but I didn't heal until I went, okay, I can blame him so the next cows come home.
Mhm.
How is that going to change anything, first of all? And
Right?
second of all, I'm choosing to participate in this. What am I doing? What am I gaining? Right. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I start to look at it from that angle that I went, it's because I had low self esteem. He was feeding the story that I wasn't good enough.
Yep.
I was allowing that. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until I took that ownership that I was able to shift things.
Mm. Powerful.
We are beings of experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's if you think about kids, parents telling kids what to do, and the kids go, screw you, I'm gonna do it my way anyways.
Mhm.
And then they come back and they go, I should have listened. No, you shouldn't have. You had to have the experience for it to solidify for you.
Yeah. To
Let
get the
kids
to
learn from
understand the
their
beat.
experiences.
Mhm. Exactly. Oh, man, this is good. And I don't know what else to say. I was gonna say something else, but it just flew away.
Well, I want to say to anybody who's watching, if you have any questions, comments, like we're open to your feedback. We are open to what resonates for you or maybe what doesn't resonate for you. You know, if you like what we're sharing, please pass along, subscribe, share, let people know about us. We love these conversations
Mhm.
and we love helping to enlighten people, maybe, reach you with a different perspective. But don't hesitate to come back to us. We would love to hear that.
Well, and like you said, if you could comment if there's something in particular that activates you even or stirs the pot, hits puts the salt on the wound of like, I don't think because even those conversations open conversations and you grow and expand even in having a conversation about something that really truly ticks you off or triggers you, whatever way you want to speak it. But you get just by being expressive enough to open yourself for it is freaking powerful. So, and it creates a shift either one way or another because you're still choosing in that experience.
Yeah,
So, if there's something that's showing up or if you're looking for support for something, every one of us, the four of us in this circle, have opportunities where you can work with us to help have some support in it. So please don't feel like you're not supported either, or you can't find a way to be supported. I would highly encourage you to reach out to any one of us. All four of our contact informations are in the links below. So you're more than welcome to reach out to any single one of us that you feel you resonate the most with. And we would be more than happy to support you in whatever you're going through or need to figure out or whatever.
absolutely. In a heartbeat. And if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, we're open to hearing what you want to learn about,
Yes.
what you would like to hear. And it's not learning from a, "Yeah, we're gonna teach you." It's just offering our experiences and our insights through these experiences. So, yeah, leave your comments, leave your topic ideas. We look forward to hearing from you.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much, Pam, for joining today because it has been such a beautiful conversation. And
Mm.
thank you, everyone, for joining us here. As the circle closes for now, the light remains, not just here, but within you. Let these teachings echo through your being like a lighthouse calls over the sea, steady, unwavering, and sovereign. Share what touched your soul, as we've already suggested. Subscribe if you feel the call. And always remember, you are the light. You are the way. And the circle will be here when you need to return. We'll see you next time.
Next time, namaste.